The first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs is starting off with a classic Battle of Ontario matchup. Some 21 years or so since the hockey gods have given us Leafs versus Sens. Ninja here with SI.com's Ian McMillan and from Oddshark Gavin Keel. Guys, I want to break down the series a bit. I want to get your picks and a whole lot more. But let's start right here. IMAC. Leafs sort of minus 170, minus 172 series winner markets. Are these odds a little short for the Leafs or no?
Yeah, you know what? I think the Senators opened it as not quite as big of underdogs. I think the odds adjusted for the series the right direction. I think now where it sits with the Leafs sitting at minus 176, I think that makes a lot of sense because as hot as the Leafs are heading into the postseason, there are some things that you got to be concerned about. For example, since the All-Star break, 29th in the NHL in 5-on-5 expected goals percentage, dead last in Corsi percentage. So for you metrics nerds out there are some red flags for this Leafs team. But at the end of the day, they've got great goaltending. They've got great shooting, which has been the difference maker in the second half of the season. So I do think where the odds land now is the right price. The Senators are live in this series, as much as it pains me to say that as a Leafs fan myself.
Well, if history is in any indication, they might not be. But Gav, the Sens have owned the Maple Leafs in the regular season, 3-0 this season, outscoring Toronto 9-3, I believe, in the process, but have never beaten Toronto in a playoff series. 2000, the Leafs win 4-2. 2001, the Leafs sweep. 2002, the Leafs win 4-3. And then 2004, the Leafs win 4-3. Do you buy stock in either of those little nuggets being bulletin board material either way here?
I don't think so. I think from our end, as well, I'm a Leafs fan. I'm sure a lot of people know that are watching this program. We've done well against the Bruins before. That's never seemed to work out. We've also never beaten the Bruins in a series as long as I can remember. So I don't think it matters. In terms of regular season record, again, I don't think that matters at all. It's so funny, and depending on the market and where people are coming from and how they perceive it, they act like it's this big thing, but Capitals were 3-0 versus the Panthers this year. Do you think the Capitals would beat the Panthers in a series? I don't think so. The Habs were 4-0 against the Panthers. I don't think they would have a chance against the Panthers in a playoff series. So everyone says it's a completely different brand of hockey, and I agree. So not putting too much weight into it.
Don't tell that to Habs fans now with Demigod in the mix there, Gav. But let's talk goaltending real quick. IMAC, is Stolarz the guy here?
Absolutely, 100% without a doubt in my mind. Do you guys know who the NHL leader right now is in save percentage? You would think probably Connor Hellebuck, who's a shoe-in to win the Vezina. No, it is not, though. It is Anthony Stolarz is the NHL leader right now in save percentage at .926. I've watched him a ton this season. I grew up a goalie myself, so I have a little bit of special interest in goaltending, and he is so calm and collected, and he always keeps himself in good position. He never puts himself in a bad position, which is what we've seen from Leafs goaltenders in the past. And as good as Joseph Woll is, I think his floor isn't as high as Stolarz. Woll can have some bad performances and lose the game for the Leafs. I don't see Stolarz doing that. In my opinion, he's a top 3, top 4 goaltender in the NHL. He is a no-brainer to be the starter in the series for the Leafs.
Gav, do you echo that sentiment? And I guess a follow-up is, how much of an advantage do the Leafs have in the paint here for this one against Ullmark?
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. And honestly, at this point, I'd be happy to run with either guy. We saw what Woll did in the playoffs last year against the Bruins. He got hurt and couldn't suit up in Game 7, so knew we were crushed then. But I mean, both of them have been so good this year. Stolarz, again, to add in on what Ian was saying, leading in save percentage, third in goals against average. And he's actually number 1 in goals saved above expected per 60 minutes. That's above Hellebuck. Yes, he's only played 34 games, but undeniably so efficient. In terms of an advantage, I know we'll get to this more a bit later on, but Ullmark, shaky postseason numbers. And then I'm sitting here saying Stolarz the guy. He hasn't played really in the playoffs at all. So that'll be interesting to see. Personally, it doesn't worry me just due to his demeanor and personality throughout the regular season. But, from a regular season standpoint or how they've been playing, I would give the edge to Stolarz and the Leafs right now. Stolarz is incredibly hot. 8-0 in his last 8, .950 save percentage, 1.37 goals against average, and 3 shutouts in that time frame. I don't care who they're playing against. If he was playing against the Sharks in all 8 of those games, that's incredible.
keys to the series here, guys, for either team. And I'll start with you, IMAC. What do the Buds need to do to win this thing? What do the Sens need to do to win this thing?
Yeah, I mentioned earlier how some red flags for the advanced metrics folks out there. 29th in expected goals percentage, 5-on-5 play, dead last in Corsi percentage. But since the All-Star break, third in the NHL in shooting percentage, third in the NHL in goaltending. You can overcome a lot of shortcomings in other areas if you shoot the puck well and stop the other team from doing so. It sounds simple, but it's true. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what hockey is about, is scoring and preventing the other team from doing so. And that is what the Maple Leafs have done well. So they need to continue to keep doing that, because their advanced numbers, I expect, are still not going to be great. But if their shooting percentage stays high, if they score on a high percentage of the shots, and if they get great goaltending, that's going to be the key to keep on playing this level of hockey in the post season. And for the Senators, I think a key thing might be just to win game one. If they win game one, and God forbid they win game two, then the Leafs, all of a sudden, those demons are going to start to come back to haunt them. If the Leafs get off to a hot start this series, I think they cruise. But if the Senators even just win game one, like I said, those demons might pop up in the heads of the Maple Leafs.
Pressure grows exponentially if that is indeed the situation. Gav, in your opinion, keys to success here for Toronto, keys to success for the young upstart Sens.
Yeah, so I'm with Ian too. Like it's crazy with the advanced analytics. Like I know the Leafs, they don't look great. But I mean, years past, they've been unbelievable. They've been top 5, 10, every category in the league. So it'd be interesting to see like how that actually plays out. Like if we graded teams solely based off their advanced analytics and, odds to win the cup, like Carolina would have like 3 or 4 cups already. Right. So it's going to be interesting to see. Like it is concerning because I am an advanced analytics guys, but like Ian said, like the goaltending and the shooting percentage, like you can maintain that. It's nothing outlandish. Like these guys have done it over a larger sample size now throughout the season where, it's not too scary. If it was like a brief 10-game stretch or something, then it would maybe be a time for concern. But keys to success for me, obviously the core 4 needs to produce, but I think the true X factor is just depth scoring. The Leafs are actually a lot deeper than I think people give them credit for this year. They have 6 20-goal scorers and they have 7 with 15 at least. So we need those guys to step up big time. Not everything can fall on Matthews, Marner, Nylander, Tavares. Yes, they're paid a lot of money, but at the end of the day, if they're not getting contributions throughout the lineup, they're not going to win this series. Sorry.
Yeah, is the worst case scenario here a Ridley Greig empty net game 7 absolute clapper to cement this thing? Steve with the pick as well.
I don't know. I don't think I could handle that. I don't know what. I'm not going to give any Sens fans watching this too much fire. I do want to say to Sens fans, though, I find it outrageous online that I'm seeing these power ranking forward charts from their fan base saying that Shane Pinto is more important than John Tavares. Like, come on.
Even he has, I mean, that's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I want to get into picks here, but let's go to player props here. Is there, Ian, a guy or guys that you will be sort of earmarking here or targeting for player prop markets in this Battle of Ontario series?
Yeah, a guy for the Leafs, my favorite guy, the guy who's shown up the most of the big 3, I think, in the playoffs the past couple of years is Willie Nylander. I'm looking at him specifically for the shots on goal market because his shots have increased the past 2 seasons once he gets to the playoffs. 4.5 shots on goal per game in his 4 games against the Bruins last year. He was injured for a few. 4.2 shots on goal in the playoffs in 2023. That's an increase of 0.65 shots on goal per game. Last year, 0.63 shots per game in 2023 when you're comparing his regular season numbers to his playoff numbers. Playoff Willie, I think we're going to start calling him this year. So I'm going to be backing him specifically in the shots on goal market.
And Gav's got the Playoff Willie sweater behind him. But what about you, Gav? Any early indications of, guys you might target in prop markets?
Yeah, I'm going the square route, and I think Austin Matthews just has to be a guy in the series. Like, he hasn't been the same the entirety of this season. He's looked a lot better since coming back from 4 Nations, finally getting that rest. But he has prolific numbers against the Senators in his career. He has 25 goals, 23 assists for 48 points in 35 games. Everyone remembers that first game of his career against the Sens where he scored 4 goals. However, they still lost. He averages 3.8 shots on goal per game against Ottawa in his career. I know it's regular season, but we're going to go off what we have here. And then one of the craziest things I saw, he has 12 goals in 11 games against Allmark in his career. So that's the most of any player against Allmark in the NHL. So any area I can attack Matthews in this series, I will. I believing that, he's been kind of holding off a little bit this series or this season leading into playoffs. His shot line will probably be around 3.5. He averaged more than that in his career against the Sens. So I think any way you can target him, if you get a reasonable line, then you should do it.
Let's finish it off here with series picks then. And I mean, we talked about the series winner markets, depending on the book, Leafs sort of hovering around that minus 170 mark. As we sit here on a Thursday afternoon ahead of game one, Sens coming back, plus 140-ish in that neighborhood. Ian, I'll start with you. What are you going to bet for this series here?
I think what I'm actually going to do is Maple Leafs to win the series. I found a market that was Maple Leafs minus 1.5 in the series. I think it was around plus 130, which I think is, obviously the Leafs would have to win the series in 6 games or fewer. I think that's the way I'm going to attack this. At the end of the day, these Senators are a young team. The Maple Leafs rightfully won their division. They finally have a first round matchup that they can feel comfortable with. I think truly, and I'm going to jinx myself because I'm sure the Senators will find a way to win and break our hearts. But I truly think for the first time in a long time, the playoffs don't start for the Maple Leafs until that second round against the winner of the Lightning and the Panthers. Senators are going to be a great team for years to come. They got a little ways to go now. The Leafs are the far better team. I think they win in 6 or fewer.
Gav, how about you?
Yeah, I'm with you in here. Like, I know we're traumatized and have scars, but truth, brain and the heart's telling me Leafs minus 1.5. So I'm going to be taking that too. I couldn't stomach a game 7. So yeah, I'm just there. I think they have the edge in pretty much every single area. Like goaltending, you could argue just based on, Allmark has a Vezina, but his playoff numbers aren't there. But forward depth, I'd give to the Leafs. Defensive depth, I'd give to the Leafs. Like the Sens, it's Jake Sanderson, maybe Shabbat. And that's really it to me. In Ottawa, the goal scoring too, just isn't there. They don't even have a 30 goal scorer. Maybe that's a bit unfair to Brady Tkachuk since he missed time, but I think the Leafs depth is too much for the Sens to overcome.